Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Marvel Monday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Spider-Man retro-carded Rhino. Thank you for watching this video, or any of my other videos that you may have run across, which I hope is all of them. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very much for supporting this channel through viewing. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you'd like to see more reviews, or just help the channel out further, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. And with all that said, let's get into it. And to start things off, as we normally do here on Digital Caveman Presents, we're at least going to attempt to take a look at the packaging because it's really big. And, you know, just for comparison, how big the package actually is, there is the Marvel Legends Stan Lee. So it's quite large. So we'll talk about what we can from over here, and I'll use handy dandy tweezers to point things out. Marvel Comics, Spider-Man, 4 and up. Marvel's Rhino, Rampaging Rhino. And then, you know, it's on that nice billboard type, whatever you want to call it there, with the light shining up. Warning, don't stick things in your pie hole that don't belong there. Nice, huge blister showcasing the figure and his accessories, and Hasbro print, and right under that, and you probably can't see it real well, but there is the assortment number. Let's see if I can get him spun around here. And there's what the whole thing looked like. Marvel, Spider-Man. There's the Rhino, Marvel's Rhino. An illustration there showing how you can, or that you can swap his hands and his head. And then here's the cross sale of the Wave 2 of the Retro Spider-Man. Spider Armor Mark 1, Hammerhead, Symbiote Spider-Man, Ben Reilly Spider-Man, the Shocker, and the Hobgoblin. Now let's take a close-up look at it. Former Russian mafia muscle, the Rhino possesses immense strength, near impregnable exo armor, and a stubborn grudge against Spider-Man. And there's a close-up of that illustration showing how you can, or showing that you can swap the pieces out. There's that same illustration from the front and the cross sale. And then here we have each sold separately, subject to availability. Attention, don't stick things in your French pie hole. Akung, don't stick things in your other language pie holes that don't belong there. Recycle print, Hasbro print, number there. Don't give it to babies. Symbols I'm not going to learn, a barcode, and some more small, fine, legalese, and made in China print. And that, my friends, does it for this extra large blister carded packaging. Now let's take a look at the figure and his accessories. We'll start with accessories, and here we have handy dandy tweezers, which we're not going to need because the accessories are big. And he comes with an extra set of like graspy type hands. That kind of looks like a trigger hand, but why would he need that? I don't know. But as you can see, fingernails are nicely painted there. And nice sculpt throughout. You know, it's got rhino bumps and scaly, well, not scaly, but cracked looking shell on it. And this one is more like, kind of like a grip hand. And again, it's got those same details. They're both on in and out hinges. Then we have his alternate head for when he's not ramming stuff. I have to say, nice print job on that face and nice sculpt. It's got a little rhino eye there, and there's his horns. And again, that crackly throughout and wrinkles. So it's very, very reminiscent of rhinoceros, as I imagine them at least. I've never been close enough to see if their skin is all cracked like that. And let's take a look at the figure itself. And just like the alternate head, there's a nice print job and nice sculpt on there. And I almost want to say the rhino part is exactly the same, and they just glued different faces on it, which is fine. It gets the job done, and it means more reuse for the mold. Again, nice paint job there on the horns, eyes, the rhino eyes. Nice print job on the face, and he's all gritty, I'm ramming stuff. And again, throughout the body, that same crackly and bumps and stuff. So, and on the back too, it's got some nice shading going on. So, really nice looking rhino. I mean, this is mostly what I think of when I think of the rhino, so that's good. Let's talk about his articulation. He can look up that far. He looks down that far. And he doesn't chicken neck. And he doesn't really have waggle, because it's on a pin and a hinge. So it's a pinned hinge, I guess you would call it. Now, if you play with the neck a little bit, I think you can get a full exorcist out of, maybe not. Let's see. Yeah, you can do the full exorcist, but it kind of unpins the neck just a little bit. So, there is that. And here's where you can see the pin and hinge real good on that. At the shoulders, comes out about that far. We'll do full 360 degree rotation. Single hinged pinned elbow, but before that, there's a cut here at the upper bicep for a full 360 degree rotation. And that's important because there is no rotation at the elbow, because I think these are the same arms that Ulik, the Troll King, uses. There's no swivel there, just a single jointed pinned hinge. And it gives you that much bend, which, it's not a lot. Then at the wrist, full 360 degree rotation on an in and out hinge, and in and out hinge on this one as well. Then we have that classic Marvel Legends Hasbro ab crunch, and it doesn't really go back any, and it crunches forward about that far. There's a cut at the waist for a full 360 degrees of rotation, and I have to say, it's tight. It's not loose like Ulik's was at all. It's not loose one bit. He gives you that much of the splits at the hips, at the upper thigh, full 360 degree rotation at that cut there. And then he will kick forward that far and back none, because his rhinoceros butt gets in the way. And again, just like Ulik, single hinged pinned knee with no swivel. All the swivel's up here at the thigh, and it gives you that much bend. At the ankle, tilts down that far, tilts up that far, and forward facing pin for a rocker. And as far as swapping the heads out, I would like to say you can just pull on a little bit and it comes out of there, but you might have to work it a little bit like that, and you can see that's how it pins in there, just like a Build-A-Figure. And then you just pin the new head in. And the same goes, you know, with the hands. You just work at them until you get them undone, and then put the new ones in. But I'm going to switch this back because this is the head that's going to stay in mine. He's going to be angry and charging. I'll get him in the display, so there we go. That, my friends, is a look at the figure and his accessories. Now it's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And let's start things off with the Spider-Man Classics Rhino from Toy Biz. And this is like their very first... Spider-Man Classics was that first line that Toy Biz did that was in a 6-inch scale. But as you can see, this guy is, you know, head and shoulders and maybe another head taller than this guy. Of course, he is in, you know, a kind of a squatting, getting ready to run pose, which makes sense for the character. But anyway, that was their first attempt at Rhino. Then this one came a little later. As you can see, he's much bulkier. He's much more closer in size to the new one. And this one came out of the Toy Biz. I'm going to say it was the Fearsome Foes of Spider-Man. It may not have been that pack, but it was a Spider-Man multi-pack. And that was the only way you could get this Rhino. It was in that some 5 or 6 pack. And then we have Ultimate Rhino, which was part of their Spider-Man line that was separate from Marvel Legends, but ran concurrently with it so that they could pump out more Spider-Man related figures than they were doing with Marvel Legends. And as you can see, this guy's kind of slim and a little on the short side. Of course, again, he's in that squatty pose also, but he's still, even standing straight up, he wouldn't be as tall as this guy. He's not nearly as big. And here we have Ulik the Troll King. And you can see where these guys might share some parts. On arms and legs, not necessarily hands and feet, but on their arms and legs they do. And I want to say this body was originally an Abomination Build-A-Figure, but it wasn't the Gamerverse one. It was the one previous to that. I don't have that particular Build-A-Figure, so I cannot compare or tell you for sure that these body parts are from that figure, but it does stand to reason that they are, except for maybe the feet. And here we have, making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. And how does he size up with other lines? Let's take a look. Here we have the Star Wars Black Series Archive Edition 5.0 First Legion Clone Trooper. From G.I. Joe Classified Series, we have the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. And for a 7-inch scale comparison, from McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse line, we have 3 Jokers, the Joker, the Clown. And that, my friends, completes our look at comparisons. For final thoughts on the Marvel Legends Spider-Man retro carded Rhino, I have to say, this is one big dude. He is, you know, at least as big as a lot of Build-A-Figures, and even bigger than some. Or at least bulkier. The elbow and knee articulation seems to be a bit dated. But, you know, it works, I think, for this figure because, you know, he's a really big dude and he's not, you know, he's not going to have much range of movement really anyway. I wouldn't think, being a big dude like that. But, hey, what do I know? I'm just a big fat dude, not a big muscly dude. You get 3 accessories with it, the alternate head and the alternate set of hands, and, you know, that's appropriate, I think, for this figure. He doesn't really use guns or anything else. He, you know, he charges and uses the horn on his head and punches stuff with his fists. At least that's the way I remember him. But overall, I'd have to say this is a good figure. And if you missed out on a previous, the Rhino Build-A-Figure, you know, here's your chance to get the Rhino back in your collection. Or in your collection if you missed him the first time, rather. That completes the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very much for supporting this channel through viewing. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you'd like to see more reviews or just help the channel out further, or both, that's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.